That's decadent, isn't it?
That is that's you're sort of.
Am I teetering on?
You're you're elevating, mate. You're in the sort of what's it called? Stanner stair lift. Like you just go.
I saw it
to the top of the world with your success.
I saw that, James, and I thought, do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yes. Should I buy it? Yes. So I did.
What was Flav talking about? Let us know in the comments below. What was Flav talking about? I mean, it's that, isn't it? Is that?
This is a long coffee mug. Pape Matar Sa.
Sorry, you all right?
Pape Matar Sa. He's this young centre midfield, Senegalese midfielder.
Right. Mess up from where?
Mets.
Ooh.
He's only 19.
Was he a midfielder?
DM.
All
or
right.
a central midfielder.
Exciting midfielder from France. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?
What's going to happen? Like when they come back, when they all come back, like Lo Celso's coming back in the summer and Ndombele's coming back in the summer.
Oh, are they coming back? They're coming back,
yeah,
are they?
They're only on loan, yeah. I mean, they've got an option to buy it, but I think it's significant. You know, like Ndombele, I think he's having a good time over there. Actually, I think he's doing all right for. Is it Lyon? Is it?
Is he? Why is it not work? Why did it not work? Is he just like? Isn't it funny how people the sort of the judgment on a player like throughout their career and how like someone just becomes, if they're not outrageously successful all the time, their character gets questioned. Funny that, isn't it?
You've got to be really careful because you don't want to come across like a Graham Souness, do you? Where you're just going, yeah, like this. Like, you're being a bit basic about why. You can't just say every time it's an attitude problem. And I don't want to sound like that, but Ndombele's attitude at times stunk.
I know. So, right, a semi-reset, just to let everyone know, semi-reset pod. I think it's going to be loose today. We've got some exciting new bits and pieces. Some good questions from our patrons, which we will be answering. Some odd, some football-related.
We're only 4 away from 400. Are we?
Well, so it's been a bad 24 hours. We did the mailbag yesterday. We were on 396 patrons. We are now on 395. I don't know who you are, but whoever's just walked away from this exciting project we're building here, you're the Ndombele of.
Yeah. Do you think you are?
I know. It's
fucking a mid-month as well. Like, look, let's be honest.
Resign immediately.
They might have money problems, James.
Yeah, maybe. But
what our problem, though, is it? Why should we pay for your money issues?
But for less than a London pint?
Yeah, mate, it all adds up. Mate, look at the shit that's going on. I don't want to go political all the time, but the cost of living, you know, the £4 mean something.
Essentially, if you don't become a patron, you're that guy who won't get around in. I'm just saying it. If you're not willing to become a slug, you're that guy who won't get around in.
I don't co-sign that. I in these times I'm saying for you, just wait and see.
Do you think? Yeah. Totally understand. Yeah. If anything, this time next week, I want under 390. I want people to have a look at their finances, make sure they're okay, and go, leave. I'm not sure this is worth it. I'd like my £4 back, and I'm stepping away.
I mean, oh, come on. No, don't say too much. You're saying too much. Sometimes
I'm flip-flopping, I know. I need to calm down. Second coffee.
Yeah. There was a time when Ndombele, against Morecambe, it was one of the worst displays I've seen from him in a Spurs shirt. And then we were I think we were drawing, or we might have been losing 1-0 to Morecambe. Mm-hmm. And he was walking off the pitch like we weren't in a cup tie being humiliated currently. This is
a good bit. So a couple of things. First of all, players that you've just decided that they had a bad attitude and something that was actually in hindsight incredibly frivolous on your part, and you've jumped on something. If anyone could think of those players that went, and that's when he lost me. And that's when I realised he was a bad egg. And of course, it's a huge jump. Like, let us know in the comments those players and those moments for you. Also, I just think it is worth saying, James East, one of our patrons, just said, I'm in crippling debt. Sorry.
Wow,
mate.
come on, James.
Well,
Mate, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't.
Yeah, that's on you.
No, his name's James, isn't it? And I wasn't having to go here.
Oh, right.
Yeah, sorry. James, mate, there's more important things than this. And, oh, man, I feel bad.
That makes you... I mean, how moist a slug are you? I mean, that's...
What does that mean?
You're incredible. To be in crippling debt and to still be a patron, that is... That's an extra dollop of moistness on that.
We're not going anywhere. You can always come back at a later date.
Yeah, we've had that actually. Some people sort of they've stepped away and they've come back. I was thinking if we were able to get to 400, whoever the 400th person was, is there something we could do for them?
Nosh.
Yeah. Could do.
Just tell us where you want us to meet you.
Yeah. But yeah.
Both me and James would give it a good go.
Oh yeah. Flav loves fleet services. If that works for you.
I love fleet services. Honestly, take a trip. Go make instead of the service station being something you do on the way to where you go. Make a service station where you go. There's a hotel there. There's a Pizza Express, KFC. They've got a Marks and Spencer's there, toilets, and a Starbucks.
I went to where was it? I can't remember where exactly it was. But it had a Wetherspoons. It was a service. No, but mate, I was thinking. I mean, I guess with your idea of the future of services, where you're making it a destination. Fine, but you're not going Friday night. Everyone, we're going to the usual, are we? What, fleet services? Yeah.
It's like if you're signing, James, if you're going to sign, a lot of transfers happen at service stations. Like the players and agents meet up because it's equidistant, it's a place you can go to meet someone. If you want to sign a player of sort of Mbappe's quality, you're not taking him to, Luton services. You're taking him to Fleet services. It's that level.
Yeah, true. I just the Wetherspoons for me. Sort of kind of promoting of alcohol at service station feels
it's not on
slightly irresponsible when I saw it there, because I was like, yeah, I'd love a pint right now. I'd love a nice sit down of a nice IPA, but this is slippery slope. There's going to be you're gonna have drunk people coming out going like in the car park causing havoc. Going, can I have a lift? It's not.
Ollie Sachs says, "Yeah, that's right. Reward the new guy, not the OGs that have been here since Platinum." Ollie then follows it up with, "I want a nosh."
We can't nosh everyone.
No, you can't. Look, it's an incentive. It's like a reward.
Clearly, So he's keen on he'd like a nosh. Matthew Blake, everyone going to unsubscribe and then resubscribe at $3.99 to be the lucky noshie.
James, maybe we could all meet at Fleet Station, just have a massive nosh off.
Yeah, maybe
all 400 people noshing each other off. We're all scattered around Fleet Services in bushes and that, just loads of nosh offs going on
around the back of the Wetherspoons.
Everywhere, mate.
I think that's called dogging. Pretty sure that's
no. You got to be in a forest. This is just spread out. The sort of the services, Fleet Services landscape. It's just people noshing each other off at random places.
You'd have to
all in the name of being 400 Patreon subscriber.
Everyone and you'd have to be incredibly well choreographed. Where like you'd have it in this sort of perfect circle where everyone's going hum num num num. Just a sort of I don't know, a nosh festival.
Yeah, be good.
Okay. Welcome back to Choose a Brother Now. This is it's a podcast. It's definitely a podcast. So if you want to become a patron, links in the description.
James, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is Bentancur good? Is he good?
I think he is good. Do you remember me going, I want to take... Kulusevski's a great signing. I say a lot of things and I get a lot of things wrong. But Kulusevski, I said that he worked well. But Bentancur does look good. He does look really good.
I'd never heard of either of them before signing. So I was just like...
I didn't know as much about Bentancur. I didn't realise he was good as that. The... Do you know what I will say? I'll put it on record. I did my I did my England squad this week, and we were talking
Saw
about Oliver
Done
Skipp
well, didn't
wasn't one of the yes, did well. Oliver Skipp wasn't one of the nominees, and I said incorrectly that Skipp. The reason he's not playing is because, and you're seeing how much better Højbjerg is because he's next to Bentancur. But I didn't realise that Skipp's been injured apparently this whole time. So I apologise.
But you can't know everything, James. You can't know everything. But
and Højbjerg does look miles better, doesn't he?
He does look better. And he did struggle, but there is no world that Skipp doesn't start if he's fit.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He's our best midfielder.
I must be missing something. I haven't seen it yet. I look forward to it.
He's the kind of player that goes under the radar. He really does. Like when you're playing in the game, people don't look for him. But Spurs fans out there know.
They do seem to know because I get a lot of messages on it. We're
really excited about him, and it's not so much. He did well at Norwich in the Championship, and then you're thinking, yeah, but is he going to be able to cut it in the Premier League? And when we were properly sort of going through the mire, he was the standout light. And the fact that when our inconsistency has come since he's been injured. So I think
haven't you been better since he's been injured?
No. We we've been we've since December the 1st. We've one lost all the way through. It coincided exactly with when he was injured. Okay. But now the last couple of weeks, there was a lot of reports saying Spurs haven't. And when we beat West Ham the weekend, there's a lot of the pundits were going, Spurs haven't won back-to-back games in the Premier League since December the 1st. It's just not true. We won back-to-back games like 2 weeks before. We beat Leeds and Everton on back-to-back games. This is weird. It was this weird thing that just kept getting pushed out. And it was like, this isn't true. We won back-to-back games in mid-December as well. It was mad. It was in The Guardian as well.
So you're telling me, by the way, just to be certain on this, you're telling me that everyone's fit, Skipp is better than Højbjerg. Skipp plays ahead of Højbjerg.
I want to know what people. Maybe I'm wrong. This is a conversation.
James Warner's in the chat and he agrees with you. He completely agrees with you.
Is he Spurs? Yeah.
I've obviously not seen it. I want
to know in the comments what people outside of Spurs and Spurs fans think as well below, because I'm curious to see what's your opinion on Skipp, and is he better than Højbjerg? Yeah. I mean, I would argue at the moment. I would, if I had to choose between Bentancur and Skipp, I'd go with Skipp.
Could you, and also in the comments, could you say if you support Spurs or not before you say your thoughts on Skipp?
Yeah, I would imagine there will be a lot of looking down their noses at Skipp from Arsenal fans and other fans and saying they don't rate him because of what he is. Like he's an uncomplicated number 8. He goes up and down the pitch, but I think it's his playing style that doesn't make it. You know, in the same way that Bentancur floats around the pitch and it's beautiful to watch him play. It's like in the same
he'll float.
Yeah, like it was beautiful to watch Bergkamp play or Berbatov play. There are certain players that have a class to them.
Ali Fowling.
Yeah, exactly that. So, and Skipp isn't that, and nor is Højbjerg, right? They're much more conventional in their gait and the way they move.
That's another one. Here we go. This is a nice little reset. Favourite gaits and least favourite gaits. Because do you know Jordan Henderson, Fergie didn't sign him because they said that he had a funny gait and he would get injuries later on in his career. And he got it. He obviously got that one wrong. I mean, he does get injured sometimes, but it didn't hold him back.
My favourite gaits, I'd say Paulo Wanchop.
Yeah, he had a good gait. Do you have a funny gait? Wilshere. He's sort of walking on his ankles with sort of bendy leg gait. Do you have probably the most famous gait, Garincha? Because he had polio, didn't he?
Yeah, but that wasn't like natural, was it? It was because he was severely sick and nearly died.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think, look, if a physical injury has happened further like a long time ago, it's fine to make fun of it. I think
with the yeah, sure, I couldn't agree more. Double down with Skipp. You're saying people look down at him because of his gait or whatever. I wonder, just to play devil's advocate a little bit, I wonder if people are doing the opposite because he's young and he's Spurs. That you're kind of suggesting, and I'm okay with it, but is there an element that you might be overhyping him because of Spurs and because he's young?
Yes. There is the idea that's based somewhat in truth that because he's had 10 good games for Spurs, that we might be hyping up and his ceiling might not be as high as what we think it is. But it's not just us. It's Conte talking about him in that way. It's Mourinho before him, and Nuno when he started to come in and start the season, he was straight into the first team and didn't leave.
See, that was so many players. They have that good year in the champ and then make the jump, and they're so much better than people give them credit for.
Brilliant way to be ready for the Premier League.
The rigours.
To play 38 or 40 games and then start and finish those games in midfield. You do Norwich done a wonderful job of him.
They loved, and Norwich fans loved him. Absolutely loved him. Here's another final question on Skipp. Will he have, and also maybe for the comments, will he have a better career than Billy Gilmour? At the end of his career, will you go, he was better, he had a better career?
Do you know what? It's fucking all right. We're just pretending we know the future, obviously. But you would say that Gilmour probably has more chance of being a truly great player than Skipp because of the type of player he is, and the expectation, and the fact that he's Chelsea, so he's much more likely to win something.
If you make it through, though, the Chelsea Academy thing's a precarious life. Because if you don't make it through and you keep sort of, you're in and out of the squad, whatever, all of a sudden you're Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Do you know what I mean? Like there's the brilliance as a youngster in terms of career decisions is as much when you leave Chelsea as if you stay.
100%. I mean, it's their production line of young players is incredible.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's so good. Like I don't.
In 2026, we could easily, and I mean easily, have an entire 11 of really good footballers that are just Chelsea Academy. You could easily do it.
You've got some more. I mean, you think about it. You got Tomori, who is currently rated as probably the best defender in Serie A, or one of.
Yeah.
You got Tammy Abraham, who he broke some mental record the other day.
Can't remember. 23 goals this year. But you go from front to back. So Nathan Baxter's
best return for his maiden season since Batistuta.
You can Nathan Baxter in goal. You could have you might have to put someone at left back, but you got Reece James, Tariq Lamptey, Livramento.
Forgot about
Mark Gay as a centre back, Tomori as a centre back. You could put Levi Colwill will be an England centre back as well at some point.
Who does he play for?
He plays for Huddersfield this year, but he's 19, left-footed centre back, really good. Midfield Gallagher, I guess Declan Rice if you want to chuck it to a point, but you've also got Ruben Loftus-Cheek a little bit. Yeah.
Abraham,
Callum Hudson-Odoi. Like Brozier's Albania doesn't work, but yeah,
it's mad.
Mason Mount is crazy.
What do you think will happen to Conor Gallagher next year then? Because he's saying he wants to go back to Chelsea, but does he get in?
I think there's a problem there because
he's good enough.
I think he is good enough. There's a few of these players, Gilmour and Gallagher. The problem is the way they play. So the way that he's been playing for Palace and doing well. He's almost like a sort of like a pressing forward midfielder, if that makes sense. Like if he goes to Chelsea, you need someone probably a bit more like nuanced and like elegant. And I'm not sure he totally fits. He'd do really well at Liverpool, But I would say I was going to ask you about this. There's so many players that will go through the sort of wash of the summer and it will hurt their England chances or help their England chances. So, for example, Maguire, I've literally just recorded a video on Ten Hag and it will go out. It will already be out by the time this podcast comes out. Harry Maguire could easily be completely bombed out by Man United and just kind of, not playing football. And that obviously would make life very difficult for him when it comes to the England squad. Conor Gallagher's a great example as well. At Palace, like, having all these great games and stuff, goes to Chelsea, can't get a game. Like, all of a sudden, you kind of forget about those. The other side of it, someone like, I was saying in that video, someone like Tarkowski could go to Leicester or whoever, West Ham, and you'll see a very different player in a different style of team, could be brilliant, things move about, and all of a sudden he's got a chance. So there's a lot of players that could sort of come and go between now and that World Cup, because it's so unique in terms of it. You've got this sort of like 4 or 5 month period to get yourself into the squad. So actually, it's weird. Almost this year doesn't matter. It's more, it's all, those early months are actually going to be quite important, and where you're playing.
Do you know what I don't hate? I don't hate Maguire on the left-hand side of our three at Tottenham.
Oh, at Tottenham.
In a three, I think even as the middle of the three, I think he's protected. All that.
Yes.
In a four, you've got to play well.
He was so good in the Euros. He was so good in the Euros.
I think Maguire is a centre or left. He's left-footed, isn't he?
He plays on the left of the two centre backs a lot. With Shaw.
And if you're protected, I think he's still a good player. And I know everyone's hating on him.
Yeah,
we did a video the other day about it, and I was surprised actually the amount of defence he got, even from Man United fans.
I think people are starting to feel a bit guilty. I think people are like, "Oh, we've all." No, I think everyone's going. We've probably gone. Have we gone a little bit too far here? And it takes like 1 or 2 people to go, "This is going a bit far, guys," and then everyone goes, "Oh yeah," which is good. I think it's good that that's happening. But
he doesn't help himself though, does he, Maguire? Because when he scores a header from 2 yards out, he goes up to the crowd like that. Like, mate, that's not your job. What you're supposed to be doing, you're doing shit at.
I defended him.
Give it the biggin.
I defended him at the time, and in hindsight, you were right. It was like, just keep your fucking head down.
Oh, we had that conversation.
Yeah, I think we did it. No, we did it when it happened, didn't it? And I was like, everyone's been hammering him. Is he not allowed to give a little bit back? But actually, it's not aged well. It really hasn't aged well. No. I did want to ask you, because I've already made the thumbnail, about England's next manager. Now, no one's thinking about this, but someone...
I don't think Southgate leaves for like 10 years anyway, but go on.
So, yeah, well, so someone... Where is it? Someone made a comment, and I thought it was good. Is it New Rules? No, I can't remember where it was. Basically, I'm sorry it'll turn up. Oh, here we go. Unwritten rules. So we're going early on unwritten rules this week. No one follows the James and Flav community page, Louis does an amazing job on there, and he collated all the unwritten rules and put it in a tweet, and it was really, really good. So well done, mate. If you do want to see all of them,
and they're all true,
and they're all absolutely true. I should probably go and find it, but the one we definitely know is that if you are champions of Europe, you're not allowed to have a go at your owner. Of course, that's written rule number 1, but 1B, of course, legislates the fact that you can have a go at the owner if they are an oligarch within. Anyway, Daniel Dyson, unwritten rule that sadly is no longer a part of the game. Any half-decent England coach being touted as the next manager of the English national team. Is it just me who finds it boring that a relatively well-liked England manager in Gareth Southgate means that we no longer get to talk beautiful nonsense about the likes of Dean Smith, Chris Wilder, Eddie Howe, Graham Potter and Sean Dyche being ready for the England job after a decent season at their club? Yeah. I mean, that was... There's a lot of... with England managers, there's a lot of grooming, isn't there, when we talk about it all?
Yeah, do you know what? What I thought you needed as a manager of the national team clearly isn't the case. Like there may be some argument that Southgate isn't the man, and it was just that we have such a good squad at the moment that a cup final World Cup final is the bare minimum. That's bollocks. Though you have to negotiate your way through a tournament, and he got so close to us winning the World Cup, which is unbelievable.
Wow, we go again. We go again this summer, this winter. That's going to be difficult to say, isn't it?
Go on.
With it in mind, it did. So I saw that comment and I thought, oh, this is interesting. International break. And obviously Southgate can't, as much as I'd love him to, he can't live forever, guys. He can't. And so with that in mind, someone will have to be manager at some point. So I had a look at the odds, and it was interesting because you know how I feel. A bit gammon on this one. I do feel like an international manager should ideally be a manager from your country, because it just seems a bit silly otherwise. So the front runner at the moment is Eddie Howe. So, and by the way, if anyone's wondering, it's not 2016. Just so you know, we're not having this conversation in 2016. It's 2022. But Eddie Howe is still the kind of front runner. Because I remember when we were doing the Ball Street stuff back in the day, when we started to talk about England and who the next manager would be, and Allardyce was busy, guzzling pints of wine. It was like Eddie Howe. Oh, I think Eddie Howe. I'm going with a youngster. I'm going for an exciting show. I'm going Eddie Howe. But he's still the front runner. Graham Potter, third favourite, Dean Smith. Fourth favourite, Frank Lampard. Then Steven Gerrard. Then Pep Guardiola. Would he take it? Would Pep Guardiola take the gig?
Yeah, I think he probably would. I mean, if the Spain job isn't available, he probably would take it. I mean, what else has he got to do?
Would he want the Spain job? He's Catalan, isn't he? Obviously, he did play for Spain.
True.
Did play for Spain.
No, I think he would. He obviously has no ethics aren't really in the forefront of his. His decision making, is it?
Let's not start all that again.
Well, I'm saying he won't care about that shit if he's happily supporting a nation state and providing. It doesn't matter. But
lovely to see David. So if you want the sort of banter shout that like they've just chucked it in to fill the list, always look for 33-1. If someone's 33-1, those are the sort of banter shouts, and that's where Bex is. That's where Bex sits right now. Bex is going, I think I want to give it a go. Who the hell's John Herdman? Never heard of him. Philip Neville. Gary Neville, 75-1. Michael Owen, 75-1.
Oh, God, could you imagine Michael Owen?
Rob Turner, you'll like this. Ian Evatt, Bolton Wanderers managers currently, 80-1. Steve Bruce, 100-1. A.D. Boothroyd, Jesus. Emma Hayes. Emma Hayes is probably one of the best candidates here by an absolute mile, and she's only 100-1.
Are you saying that just because
I'm really not. Look who she's nestled in there with. Look, what we going? Are we going Campbell or Shearer or Allardyce or Scholes or AD? I'd give it Emma Hayes. What about Steven Gerrard?
She's definitely more qualified than the people that you say, who she's sort of nestled in with, and fundamentally, it's just because she's a woman that they've put her alongside David Beckham, when she's infinitely more qualified than David Beckham to do the job. She just happens to have a fanny.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, she does. Oh, yeah. Well, we don't know that.
She might not have a fanny. Is that what you're saying? It's not an important conversation.
No, I don't think it is.
Gerrard. Catherine just said Gerrard.
Yeah, what do you think about Gerrard?
Yeah, all right.
It's obviously not going to be now. That. It's not going to be... So Southgate, say he has a bad World Cup. He then gets a Euros, doesn't he?
What gets him...
When's he leave?
Sacked?
Yeah.
If he doesn't get out of the group stage, he's got to go, isn't he? Not with that team. Out of the group stages would be unforgivable.
I think he'd be safe. I think he's got a tournament of safety. I think he's fine. But I guess we'll see.
Waste.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Massive waste. I don't have the best feeling about Qatar, because I feel like, like sometimes, like when a team's either done well or got to a final, like teams sometimes when they get to the playoff final, they then the next year there's sort of a bit of a hangover there. I wonder if emotionally they might be a bit.
Liverpool
drained.
did it, didn't they? They did the final, got there again and won. So it can happen.
Stronger.
And our you'd think our players are better than they were in Russia. None of them are. Who's in that side that wouldn't make it now? There's pretty much the same squad, more or less, isn't it?
There's very few sort of old heads in there. I think after this one you might see a bit of a tweak.
Walker would be the only one, wouldn't he?
Yeah, Henderson's a bit older as well. I think those two might be making way soon.
It was Calvin Phillips and Rice anyway, so it's going to be them two, probably.
Yeah, well, Phillips needs to get fit, doesn't he? But yeah,
Skipp?
yeah.
How about Skipp?
Skipping a jump, maybe into the squad. Matthew Sargent in the chat saying, "I don't think Gerrard has a fanny." Thanks for that.
No, I don't think he does.
Bunsey says, "Give it Richie Wellens." No, I wouldn't do that personally. So from that list, who would you say? Say Gareth went, "My heart's not in this," and walks away. who would you go for as the next manager? Let us know in the chat as well.
I don't hate Gerrard. I think that's a really nice fit.
Not Lampard then. How are you feeling about Lampard right now? He's having a. Do you know what? He's got a problem. He's got a temper, isn't he? He's he's easily aggravated, and I think that is the thing that's gonna ruin his managerial career.
I think we haven't seen a lot in Lampard that says that he's a good manager. Tuchel come in and won a Champions League with the exact same team, and challenging for the league as well. You could argue. So he's everything that Tuchel's done since Lampard came in has sort of taken away from that top 4 finish that he achieved. Derby was all right. He was all right. It was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then,
competent.
And his decision making in taking that Everton job was, I think, was a terrible. They had no money. They're financially fucked. You have to do everything with what you've got there, and you're going to lose players.
And you can't spend much in the summer, really.
Nothing. They won't. They can't spend anything, mate. They've got to sell. They can't. I mean, they could probably. They can spend what they make, unless there's some sort of there's some sort of mechanism that the owners put in place to somehow fund the club in the same way that City did, like sponsoring their training ground or something like that. But it was a mad decision to take. There were better jobs.
Yeah, but I think he was getting a bit antsy in terms of I need to take one here quick. Sooner or later I'm going to get kind of cut adrift and then not be discussed in these jobs. So you got to take one sooner or later.
True, that is true. But if he does poorly, then his reputation is damaged significantly. He's going to have to go down the leagues probably. If he gets Everton relegated, he'll have. Does he get another job? Ever?
It would be one where, I think he would have to take a bit of a drop and achieve something. I think I understand sometimes managers get a bit of a head start because of who they are and their contacts and stuff. And I wonder if Lampard and Everton in the summer could do a similar thing to Everton and get a couple of those exciting Chelsea players and go that route a little bit. They should look at Palace and what they've done. They kind of got ahead of themselves, Everton. And they should, the way Palace have recruited has been very, very smart. And they should kind of go down that road a little bit.
How about this? Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney is not a bad shout at all. You wonder if it does that go down for someone whiter than white in Southgate to then go to Rooney? It
a granny shagger.
Yeah. Yeah,
he shagged the granny.
Factually accurate, sadly. There
go.
Go vis-a-vis. He is a great shagger. It feels like it would be a bit Sven-Goran Eriksson, where, and with Sven, you were like, you dirty dog. With Sven, where it was kind of like, get out of here, you little scamp. He stopped that now. He can stop shagging about. Whereas Rooney, it's like Rooney's like, mate, stop.
Yeah.
Having sex with old age pensioners.
Well, you're doing it right now. Yeah. While you're on the phone to me, I can hear you. I can hear her.
I can hear. It's like a newsagent shop. I can hear the bell, ding ding, when someone walks in. Are you sucking on a humbug? I can hear it in your teeth. You're not there again, are you?
Yeah, I can hear. You're not concentrating on this conversation.
Yeah,
but I can smell the aniseed down the phone.
But I think Rooney's not the worst shout. I don't know. There wasn't odds on Rooney. Interestingly, I'm surprised that there's no odds on him, and you've got odds on Carragher. Do you know? I did want to touch on. So Eddie Howe and Graham Potter are the two front runners. Dean Smith in third. I think for very shallow reasons, Dean Smith doesn't get taken seriously for the England job on two fronts. One sort of, the haircut and the look, sadly.
Yeah.
Secondly, on the clubs that he's managed, or sort of working his way up from Walsall. Obviously managed a huge club in Aston Villa, but I wonder if he just doesn't look good enough in a suit to be an England manager, and I think that's really harsh. Don't you think?
I don't think it's true.
Well, I've decided it's true.
Yeah. I think he's done all right at Brentford, didn't he? He did well at Brentford. Nearly got them up, didn't. And then,
say you're on the committee that decides who the next England manager is with this incredible generation of players. Southgate's done a great job, but we kind of need someone to get us over the line and win us these tournaments. And the 5 people that are being interviewed are Eddie Howe, Graham Potter, Dean Smith, Frank Lampard, and Steven Gerrard. You're not going to give it to Dean Smith, are you?
No, he'd probably be the first out, to be honest.
Why?
I don't think he has an identity.
What does that mean?
I think he doesn't have the gravitas that the other 4 do. Potter's identity being he plays really, really good football. I wouldn't give it to Potter either.
He's also the hipster's king, isn't he, Graham Potter?
Yeah, but it's no good being anybody's king if you lose 6 games on the bounce in the league. Doesn't matter how good the football is. The same bollocks with Leeds last year. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm just saying that he's got a reputation about in his style of play and his philosophy, which would be good to see in the national team. But I feel like he needs a lot more time on the training pitch with these players, and he wouldn't get it. So I don't think it's him. Gerrard carries with him he has every bit of gravitas. We don't even have to talk about him. We know exactly what he is. Plus, he's getting decent results.
It also has to align with your career trajectory. Like with Southgate, there wasn't really much else forthcoming. So
he came from the under-21s, didn't he, or the development?
He'd been at the under-21s for a long time, but yeah, he sort of had some role there in terms of developing it all, and then obviously took the gig once Allardyce screwed it up. But yeah,
he's like perfect for the FA though. That's exactly the kind of what they like.
If Gerrard did well, it's do you know what I mean? In terms of like, what's the next jump? A bit like in terms of say going into a different competition. Sometimes with young players, they go Championship, then they need like a gap in between, so they go to the Bundesliga for a bit, then they come back and do the Prem. Like with Gerrard, there might be a school of thought that he might have where he goes, okay, the Liverpool job's maybe not right for me just yet, but I've done well at Aston Villa. Now I'm going to take the England job. And then, because it's a good opportunity and a great generation, and then I go back and try and take that Liverpool job once I've got even more experience.
He does. Yeah, I agree. I think he definitely needs to wait for the Liverpool job. He's going to end up there inevitably, but he needs to. He can't. Anyone that follows Klopp is going to have a tough time, and it shouldn't be. If you're even as a Liverpool fan, you might be thinking, yeah, not just let someone else come in. Let there be some sort of buffer between the two. And then give it to Gerrard. I think it'd be a lot too much to expect.
Do you know, every time I go on Twitter, Rooney's trending. I click on it and I'm like, I don't know if I'm making it worse by clicking on it.
You are. It's specific to your behaviours.
Is it? It's always bloody Rooney.
At the moment, mine is Pogba and Kane.
Yeah, I've got Pogba did turn up there. Apparently, Defoe has retired, according to our chat. Oh, no. No. Yeah, he can never retire. Is he? Because he's been on the bench. He's been coming off the bench recently, but he hasn't scored a goal yet. So I'm surprised he's done that. Might as well play to the end of the season. What's he doing? Score a winner in the playoff final. They're currently in the playoff places. Someone get a message to Defoe quickly. He's making the wrong call. Just wait. Just play out the rest of the season. That seems foolhardy.
He's got a goal though, is he?
Yeah, he's not really playing.
No, he's. Anyway. He'll always have a fond place in. I don't know what I'm saying. He'll always have a place in my heart.
Yeah, good to know. Right, possibly enough football chat. Let's get to the script now, guys. Let's get to the script. First of all, I just wanted to touch on something. Ryan Couch, who said this, he's one of our patrons who put forward this interesting talking point, and I think we wanted to talk about this with all the slugs and see how we navigate our way through this and respond. Any thoughts on the US men's national team appropriating the slug ideology or slugology of only forwards? Are we being franchised? He sent me a link. If you have a look here, you can see in this top above Flav's head, hashtag only forward. Obviously, they listen to the podcast. I've made the misstep of when there was that tweet where you said we can only move forward, I, on the back of that, said only forward. It was a slight difference there, and they've taken inspiration from that, and now we need to take these motherfuckers down. So I don't know how we best approach it, but I think the obvious thing is fight fire with fire, some sort of form of hashtag on any US men's national team tweet. That feels like the only way forward.
Why don't we adopt them?
No. You can't steal our wording. I say,
aren't they sort of declaring themselves as sluggies?
But then they're not using the hashtag. What about the hashtag? I'm also a slug. Full copyright goes to James and Flav. Do you know what I mean? We've got to do something here. Slugs versus USA, says Matthew Blake. Agreed. I say, we need a hashtag. You think of the hashtag, Flav. What hashtag that sort of makes a clear message of like back off?
Well, I don't know. I'm not completely party to this war that you want to undertake with the US national team.
It's the Americans being arrogant again, thinking they're the biggest country in the world and stealing our stuff. Okay, and I'm not having it.
I think there's a subtle thing, and you just go back with hashtag slugs, slug army,
hashtag slug army,
undefeated, hashtag undefeated, hashtag. So that's Slug Army.
Yeah.
You let us know in the comments below.
Let us know. Yeah, let's say what hashtag are we going to move forward with? Because that's all we can do. Is move forward.
Yeah.
Couple of important questions from Patron as well. Again, one for the comments. Eep de Grief. Hey guys, new Moisty here and loving the pod. If you could go back in time, run inside any stadium and stop one goal from going in, what goal would it be? As a Pompey fan, for me, it would have to be Inzaghi's 94th minute equaliser at Fratton Park in 2008, which ultimately stopped us getting out of the UEFA Cup group stage.
Yeah. Mine would be Yossi Benayoun's goal against Tottenham 2005, I think, that stopped us from getting in the Champions League ahead of Arsenal. It was almost sort of like a playoff. They beat Wigan 4-2, I think, or maybe it's 2-0.
Would you not stop the Sissoko handball in the Champions League?
It's not a goal though, is it? It's not a goal.
Essentially, stop.
Did it say goal?
Or save the penalty then. Stop the penalty. Make him miss. Trip him up.
That's a good point.
That game could have been so different.
Yeah, maybe it's that then. Yeah, no, it would be that. I didn't think about the penalty. Yeah, all right. Yeah, it would be that one. Change my mind.
Mine is Eric Cantona scored a goal in what shouldn't have been the 96th minute. But for some reason, obviously they were paying the refs. Back in 1995-96, we were beating Man United at home 1-0, and we needed that victory. And who knows, we could have stayed up. And then who knows what have happened from then. So it would be that Eric Cantona goal. I would have stopped that. Let us know in the comments what goal you would go and change. And the butterfly effect of stopping that goal. What could have happened instead? What could it be? Where are we? Oh, so we've spoken about patrons a couple of times. Elliot Callender, I quite like this. And we were talking about this last week about the fellow whose female friend was having a tough time because she'd broken up with him. Her boyfriend, she was sad. And he went... he said, we can only move forwards, and laughed himself. She started crying, and he said, that'll do, pig. So he was a slug in the wild, using our in-jokes out there in the wild. And I quite like this idea. So Elliot Callender went, hashtag slugs in the wild. Anytime I'm lost for conversation starters with someone, my go-to, without question, is, isn't it weird that you never see a seagull sitting in a tree? I still haven't seen or met anyone who has, but I always carry a spoon on me just in case.
Nice, good work, Elliot.
So a nice side of the slugs in the wild. Let us know if you've utilised some slugging jokes in the wild. Let us know if
you've ever met other slugs in the world then as well. If you somehow met another sluggy.
Comments of the week. Naz159. I asked one of my friends whether he prefers sharks or exhausts in a sexual sense. Go back to last week's podcast if you missed that. You need that context. We're talking about having sex with sharks or exhausts. He said sharks, so seems like Flav's in the clear.
Of course, yes. It goes about to reiterate, there is no sexual element to my interest in sharks. It's just that if you had to have sex with something, you definitely would. That's such a weird thing I'm about to say.
Now, go on.
I would have thought a shark is more attractive than a car exhaust. I mean, neither is.
I mean, as Naz said that his friend said shark. So as he says, Flav, you're in the clear. Stephen Devlin, interesting take, brave take from him here. He said, "Am I the only one that loves football chat?" Very brave. Very brave comment.
Yeah,
which I respect.
What a fucking idiot.
I found the comments interesting underneath this. 4 replies. Donald Crowley, yes, he's backed him up.
Shit.
Someone called James said, less of that. SWJ said, my eyes are burning. I'm in a state of sluggalicious shock. What have I just read? You love football chat. Have a word. Stephen Devlin replied, I come for the football chat, but stay for the sluggy in jokes. Oh, that's okay.
That's fine.
That's good.
That's fine.
Quotes of the week from last week's pod. Callum with 2 L's. Moment of the pod. Jim, did you see any of the football last night? Flav, yep. Followed by direct camera eye contact and confident nodding. Jim smirking because he knows he's talking absolute nonsense. What game did you watch? Flav closes his eyes for about 5 seconds trying to search the universe for last night's fixtures. Flav, I watched Everton. The goal!
Yeah.
42 likes on that.
Well, sometimes I feel like I'm letting you down because we're doing part of it is football podcast and there's a big game that's happened and I haven't watched it. And then you ask me because obviously you need a title sometimes. I'm thinking, oh shit, maybe I can bluff this.
Yeah, don't worry. No, that ship sailed, mate, I think, a while back.
Was there any moments when we were doing this podcast and you go, you've got to watch come on, what are we doing here? If you're not watching
Meet me halfway.
Yeah. Was there, back in the day, was there a moment, anything like
that? No, because I think you're very good at sort of when you see that thing. I can't remember what it was, the Matrix. You know when they're sort of like when people are thinking of the future, they're like, okay, I'm bringing this and this on this like virtual sort of screen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's what often you'll see. And again, I always implore people to keep an eye out for this. And you see the sort of look of panic, and then it's that moment in their mind. They're going, he plays for this club. He used to play for that club. He plays in this position. This happened last year to him, and just sort of trying to create this sort of cloud of comment that you can sort of throw out there to the world. And you're one of the best. You're one of the best. So yeah, but no, I don't think. I think you've always been good. Also, like I think if you watch a certain amount, when football's been your life, and talking about football's been your life, then often there are sort of roads you can go down, which is and you're good at that.
Fair enough.
King Leonidas, quote of the week last week. I shouldn't have to underline that they're.
I've just said that again.
What? All right, I shouldn't have to underline that there isn't a sexual element to my interest in sharks. Might stick that one on a t-shirt. Can someone make a t-shirt saying I shouldn't have to underline that there isn't a sexual element to my interest? I would love to see that. And final quote of the week from Mr. Banana Bandana. Stench of helmet. I think we're talking about Michael Owen. I think we're talking about that. New rules. What do you think about this one? Luke Bingham. I think it'd be a good idea to let you be able to pass to the ref for a quick 1-2 from a short distance. Maybe 5 yards. The ball must be played back to the player who passed the ball, and he has to be one touch from the ref. We'd get to see the difference in ability in refs, and I really like the idea of the North London derby being decided by Harry Kane getting on the end of a stylish flick from Mike D.
That's fantastic.
That would be good. Who are the refs? There's not really a list of all the refs, is there? But what ref do you think's good at football? Do you think Mike Dean's a good player? A little 1-2. A little 1-2. Do you know who'd be terrible?
Yeah.
John Moss. I don't think John Moss has got it in him.
Honestly, I know what Mike Dean looks like because he's probably the most famous one. But I can't picture another referee, their face. I don't have a single clue what they look like.
So this is good. This is good for Flav. We could maybe describe some refs. So you've got Michael Oliver, who did the line in his head that time, but has done well. Came through as a youngster, had a few wobbly moments at the start. Is now probably considered the best English referee.
He's the best, is he?
Yeah, I would say so. He's done well because his face looks confused a lot of the time, but he's actually a very good ref.
Oh yeah, I recognise him.
Anthony Taylor looks like a thumb.
Good, I like the sound of that. Let's have a little look.
Or like if sort of the mix of an index, more the tip of an index finger. Actually, Anthony Taylor looks like.
I recognise him as well, so I'd probably do. Yeah.
Who else is there? I'm trying to think. Mike Dean, obviously. I don't know.
Mike Dean bores a lot of piss, but I don't mind him.
Yeah, I think most people quite enjoy him. I do like that as an idea, like a quick 1-2 just to get you out of trouble would be good. Puts a lot of pressure on the ref though. We were talking about what does your fan base look like, and we've got some interesting revelations here. Morgan Heath said, "Me, a West Ham fan from Essex with an undercut, was wondering what Jim was going to say, what West Ham fans look like, before being told that I am, in fact, a stereotype." Because I said, yeah, when I think West Ham fans, I think undercuts. I do. Liam Spivey said, most Liverpool fans look like clones of Paul Machin. Tall with a good hairline and usually in trackies. All you hear going into the ground is, all right, lad, sound lad, boss lad.
That's la, innit? La. All right, la.
Yeah. Oh, mate, do you know what I found out yesterday?
What?
Like, mate, the QPR just gets worse and worse, right? Obviously, absolute mess at the weekend. We lose to bottom of the league. Oh, I had an argument. I had an argument on Sunday.
At school? I mean, in the ground?
Yeah. So, you know, there's like these people that I don't like because they arrive late and they leave early, like do all that shit, right? So we go I don't know if I told you so already, but in case I haven't. We go 1-0 up. Go 1-0 up. We're like, brilliant. Okay, nice. Comfortable win, please. We need to win this game. They then score just before half time. Sucks the life out of the place. Everyone's getting a bit twitchy. Come out second half. I think between 50 minutes and 55 minutes, we concede 2 goals. One, a stupid penalty, and then the next one is an absolute worldie, pretty much from the kickoff. Obviously devastating.
Yeah.
These 2 lads who always, I say lads, the guy's fucking 60, like, who always leave early and leave, especially when we're losing. If we're losing by 2 goals, he's gone. Walk out 55 minutes. 55 minutes.
That's sacrilege.
And me and my dad snapped.
Oh, your dad did as well? Because I was wondering if you're
we're just like, what are you doing? Like, obviously you're angered and like the season's in tatters. But it's like,
but Jim, has this been bubbling under the surface for a while between
for about 20 years? For about 20 years, yeah.
For about 20 years.
Yeah.
So do you know each other? Is this going to be like? Is this going to be beef? Is it going to be on site the next time they're in?
I guess it will probably be a bit awkward next time.
What did they say?
Well, he does his fingers. Like, I'm not staying around for this. I mean, we're like,
why'd you come?
Why are you here? So yeah, mate. Honestly, for the rest of the day, and still now when I revisit it, my mind is blown. Right, for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's QPR. It's fucking QPR. If you're Chelsea and you never lose at home, and you're 2-0 down to 3-1 down to bottom of the league, or you've lost game after game after game after game after game after game, and you're like, I just can't stomach it, guys. then it's maybe right, yeah. But it's QPR. We've been 16th for the last 5 years, and then all of a sudden we've got a team that's like giving itself, is in the hunt. Where actually these games matter in March. Like, what are you doing? Second of all, it's 55 minutes. Imagine we're playing bottom of the league. Imagine if we won 4-3. How unbelievable would that be, right? You've got a season ticket. This is why you're a fan. Imagine that. Second of all. Third point, if this game kicks off at 8:00 and the trains are a nightmare and it's on a Thursday night or Wednesday night and you're like, look, I've got work in the morning, I've got to get back to Northampton, whatever it might be, right? again, maybe I can live with that. It's 12:30 on a Sunday. You've come all this way. You can't wait another 20 minutes just to see what happens. So we just snapped him.
I took my missus to watch Spurs play West Ham a while back at the old Spurs stadium, and we were 2-1 down. And the Spurs West Ham is probably the naughtiest fixture at Spurs, and sometimes the atmosphere after the game could be quite bad. That you get stuck as the police kettle fans, and you get stuck basically. So I was like, we're 2-1 down. I was like, right, let's just get out before everybody else, like before it. West Ham leave the ground, and it all sort of starts to kick off after outside.
Right.
And then we score 2 goals literally in 2 minutes and win 3-2.
Yeah, well, we don't leave then.
Well, I know, I was worried about the safety of my partner.
She knew what she was walking into.
She did. She was pissed. She was annoyed.
Was she? Yeah. So I kind of went, yeah. So as he's coming out, we're going, what are you doing? We're like, what are you doing? And then Dad went something like, oh, proper supporter, are you? Proper, go on, like, go, like, get, like, and I was like, your seat's there. I just couldn't when you just like, and I'm fucked off, obviously, because the season's in disarray.
Did anyone join you, or was it just you?
Everyone agreed with us. I don't think anyone else got involved. Like, everyone, because what happens with football fans is you give each other a look, don't you? You or you wait until they've gone and someone says something. But actually, sorry, the guys along from us, one of them apparently went, "Really?" like, as he was walking out. But yeah, it wasn't good. And so from that, obviously, we're not in a nice place. We then find out our star player Chris Willock is out for the season. Brilliant.
When's that on the day of the game?
No, 2 days ago, and then today, last night, I found out. I've been in the same seat for for 20 years. And they're bringing in like rail safe standing into like Loftus Road lower, and now I'm in the P block upper stand, and that's going to turn into a family stand. So I'm not going to have my seat. I'm going to have to move for the first time in 20 years.
That's a shame. But do you not want to stand in this? Is your dad able to stand for the game?
I mean, obviously
there are seats behind you as well. By the way,
we're capable of doing it. But the area that our other one's going to be some sort of like family area, which I don't think anyone really wants. The problem for me is I love my seat because it's in an area where people like sing and stuff, but also it's a bit higher up, so you can really like see the game much better. Whereas if in the lower, in the lower loft, you haven't got that same height. So I'm gutted about it. And actually, even more important than that, over these 20 years, I've sat around the same people the whole time. Yeah. And I really like sitting with the people that I sit with, and I don't want to not sit with them anymore.
Yeah, apart from those 2 blokes.
Yeah, those 2 can go.
Can't you sort of agree to sort of take over a part of the stand or move to a section of the safe standing? Because the safe standing is the standing, but there are seats. You can sit if you want to.
Yeah.
And still see.
But that's sort of misleading, isn't it? Because if you sit down, you won't see the game because everyone's standing.
Well, yeah. Well, at Spurs, you could probably, the way it's spanked, and I know it's like a new build, so they had this in mind, but I think the way it is, the people in front of you are significantly lower. Anyway, I don't know how they're going to do it, but
yeah, I'm just really sad. I'm really sad about that. I'm gutted about that. So we'll see.
I can understand that. It's just been part of the tradition, isn't it? It's part of the.
It's just my view in my head. That's that's the spot.
How you see it.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're going to do. But we'll figure it out, I guess. Anyway,
Jim, I've got like 10 minutes at most.
That's fine. Josh Carrington, describe your fan base's look. Huddersfield Town, at least 60% of our fan base looks like that one old bloke, in every pub who goes in every day, sits on his own, staring down the youth of today and orders far too many of their pint of choice, normally a Foster's or Carling, before being carted out after last orders, drunkly shouting, "See you tomorrow, love." So that's what Huddersfield Town fans are like. Max Morris, as a Villa fan, we look like all we eat is pie and gravy. Catherine, let us know if you agree with this. We either have a skin fade, Peaky Blinders-esque, or are simply bald with a beer belly. I put a good amount of money that 80% of over 50s that support Villa have a Villa tattoo on their calf.
I'd say that. I would say I'd say that's fair of most clubs. If you go away with Spurs, there are cockerels on calves all over the shop.
Really, yeah, love it on the calf, don't they? And Luke Fletcher, describe what your fan base looks like. West Brom, bald. So what this led to me to think was like, what is the baldest fan base in
There
football?
seems to be a thing about the Midlands here because my granddad was from the Midlands and he was bald as a coot.
Interesting. So West Brom and Villa fans supposedly very bold. What I would love to see, it'd be amazing. Tweet me it. What's the sort of baldest view in football? So where you go to watch your team, sort of have a look at the crowd in front of you, and how many baldies are there? You know, is it just one or two, or are you surrounded by bald people? Like, what is the baldest view in football?
I think if you're celebrating a goal, you want to go for someone who's bald. Like, because there's so much surface area to aim your kiss at. You know, when you...
Yeah, that's true. Or even you can just grab the top of the head, can't you? Just sort of slap it.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. I wonder how much time bald people spend with their cranium in other people's hands. More than most, I'd imagine.
Interesting. And that's your lot. That is your lot. I thought we had more than that, but not to be. And that's okay. That's okay. We had a nice little chat about footy there. Oh, last question. Crucial question. Josh Rogers. This is from our Patron as well. So if you want to hear more questions like this answered, become Patron. Josh Rogers, you can have one type of carbohydrate for the rest of your life. What are you choosing and why?
Pasta, hands down.
Yeah. There was
a question.
Someone interestingly said on the mailbag, potato, because with gnocchi and potato bread and potato cakes, you have a lot of variance there.
Gnocchi, I was going to ask about gnocchi because it's a hybrid between pasta and potato. So you can't have gnocchi, and nor can a pastaria. And I do like a bit of gnocchi.
Gnocchi's great, isn't it?
What's your favourite pasta, Jim?
Do you know what I had the other day? They were like sort of, is it rigatoni? I want to say they were quite sort of chunky tubes. They were lovely.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Because with the sauce, you can kind of like scoop stuff up.
There's a lot of wankers out there that use tagliatelle as opposed to spaghetti when they're making a bolognese or a ragu. Just
to be difficult.
What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Oh, what I'm going to do is I'm just add this because it's going to give it an edge. It doesn't give it an edge. It makes it worse. Leave it as it is. It's perfect. It's a perfect dish. You're fucking about with it. But some people do it on penne. What? Who are those? They're notable by their absence.
I can eat if there was a pasta buffet. Game over. I can eat so much pasta. I can in one sitting. It's outrageous. Honestly.
I like loads of pasta as well, like proper mound of it.
Yeah,
and you'll go to the end.
Oh, you'll go to the end, absolutely. I think I would go pasta as well. By the way, just to answer.
A pasta buffet, isn't a bad shout for an Italian restaurant. I don't think because it isn't like Chinese buffet where you can load up on like. If you could basically, this is a spaghetti bolognese buffet. There's a vat of bolognese and a shitload of spaghetti, and you come in, you pay a tenner, you can eat as much of it as you want. How much is it going to cost a plate? I'd say £1.50, something like that, to a restaurant. There is no man out there that can make their money back in that. So if they're paying £10, is there a man out there that can eat £10 worth of effectively 8 or 9 plates of spaghetti bolognese? I don't think there's a man out there. What's the most amount of spaghetti bolognese you've eaten in one sitting? Have you ever gone, Jim? And I'd like to know the comments of this because often you make a load of spaghetti bolognese, and if you wanted a couple of plates,
you seem to be very like focused on spaghetti bolognese here. Is that like do you work around anything else? Is it just? But with the bolognese, does it have to be spaghetti for you, or would you have that bolognese on a penne or something else?
Well, I said that's what arseholes and wankers do.
What, they'll try something different? You just want spaghetti.
Why try something different? It's perfect. Why would you want to be?
Just mix it up.
Well, I get it if you've got nothing else and you still want spaghetti bolognese. I appreciate that and I applaud it. But if you've got a choice between spaghetti or linguine, sometimes people use linguine. Different. Changes the texture, changes the complexity.
Big Nige. Yeah, Big Nige would be all over this bit of chat. He'll love this.
Mate, how many? I want to know what the maximum amount of plates of spaghetti bolognese someone can eat in one sitting. I want a video of someone eating 3 plates of spaghetti bolognese, and
Right.
even if it's like, how long's that video going to be? How long will it? I think it can't be under 20 minutes. No one can eat 3 bowls.
Catherine changes her pasta every time she has spag bowl. Thoughts?
Fucking, I've never lashed out at you, Catherine. Never, ever. And I'm not going to start now. But you're pushing my buttons, love.
Yeah, careful.
Is
this going back a few years? Was this the thing? Do you put ketchup on it? Did you put ketchup on it?
No.
What was it you put ketchup on again?
I think that there is room, but I don't.
There's no room. There's no room.
Do you put cheddar on your spaghetti bolognese, or do you put parmesan?
Great question. I think cheddar's underrated on spag bowl.
If no one's looking, you put cheddar.
Yeah. That's so
but
true.
If you're at a dinner party around, you just sprinkle a bit of parmesan, wishing it was a block of cheddar.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you ever do the You go, no, I'll bring it in. I'll bring it through. You sit down, and you go. You get a load on. Then stir it a little bit, so that then when you come in, you can go. We're just putting a bit on now, are we? Looks like you haven't even doubled up on the cheese.
Yeah, you put loads of cheese on it, but put a thin layer of bolognese just on. Sorry. Put a thin layer of bolognese just to cover the cheese.
Yeah, clever. That's great. Yeah, that's great. That's good. Sneaky moves, sneaky food moves. Because also, like, say I'm having some spag bowl and the missus isn't there. It's basically all cheese, if I'm honest. It's fucking chaos.
Is even see, I get that. I think if I was on my own, it'd be chaos on my plate. But as my missus then, she's cooked it. It feels a bit out of order just to bung loads of cheddar all over it. But it does just when you get you get spaghetti with the bolognese and then just this loads of cheese. It's such a taste sensation in your mouth, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, perfect. Thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll be back next week, no doubt. We said it a few times, obviously, but if you want to become a patron, become the 400th and get yourself a juicy nosh, then links in the description.
Can I just leave you with this?
Go on then.
This came through in my phone. It says there was a shark incident on the Colombian island of Isle de Santander on Friday afternoon where a 56-year-old Italian tourist, Antonio Rosetto de Gelli, lost his life. The incident took place in La Pacientia, a popular tourist spot on the island. The shark bit the victim's right leg several times as he was swimming. According to the Archipelago Press, it was a tiger shark that bit the tourist.
Is that from the app?
Shark bites. Download it.
See you later.